Time for Idia and Malleus's Overblot songs. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time now, so let's go! ggwp. I'm liking the feel of this one so far. Rage quit. There's so many gaming terms, or at least internet slang. Or is that the correct phrase? Ah, that's why it's ggwp. Lol. Now, I know we're reaching like halfway point, but I kind of want to go over the lyrics a little bit because he was talking so well. He was rapping really fast, so it was kind of hard for me to like catch everything he said. Okay, so he says overthinking is a high caloric drive. I guess that makes sense, unless you're playing the type of game that requires a lot of overthinking, but that makes sense. And then forced happy endings only trigger rage quits. That's actually true. I feel like there are some games where you can get multiple endings, and if they like force either like a relationship or even like, oh, everything is supposedly ends well, then yeah, I could see people rage quitting and whatnot. So that makes sense. But also just for his perspective too, that does make sense that, you know, he wouldn't really want a forced happy ending. Someone takes an L each second, how fitting. And then you think anyone will care? I just mask my feels and play safe like a game-breaking glitch. I'm not really sure about this one. I know what he means, but at the same time, if we're thinking like of a bug that breaks a game, and I don't really understand how that's playing nice. Maybe he's talking more about the actual like companies, game companies, whenever there's such a bug, like how they interact with the communities. Maybe that's what it's about. But overall, this line is something that I'm kind of not really sure about. So if you guys can let me know down below in the comments on what you think it actually means, so that I can better understand it, I'd most appreciate it. Also, special thanks to my paid members on YouTube. You know who you are. Now let's keep going. Pretending to be chill, slowly building affection. They just don't get it. I'm too OP, an undead on the cusp of burning to ashes. I do remember when I was looking at the summary video, and also you guys in the comments told me that he's extremely powerful, which is why, you know, his family and he himself are, I think, like the guardians of the underworld or something along those lines. For some reason, I have a bit of trouble remembering his particular, I guess, lore, background, that kind of thing, compared to the other dorms. I don't know why. I think it might just be because I didn't really get to process enough of what his story was about. Like, I do remember the events that happened, but that's pretty much it to a good degree. And on all the worthless NPCs out there, we raid and grinding so hard that I got no time to sleep while you all are just chilling. I'm going to give this world a clean install. I guess from his perspective, everyone else is not really doing much. I mean, they are doing stuff clearly, but like to him, he has a bit bigger set of responsibilities. Maybe not when we're comparing it with Malleus and Diasomnia, to be clear, but maybe for the rest, that's how he probably feels. And then, GG, well played, easy noob, you're easy noob. Okay, I think we reached the good point. But now I get what he means. AFK. That's true. What I think is hilarious is the fact that he doesn't really seem like the type of character that talks a lot, but then his Overblot song is the one that talks a lot. which makes sense, but at the same time it's quite hilarious that he's just spitting out words so much in this one to the point that I'm almost overwhelmed. But it is sad that, you know, obviously he's very, what's the word? I guess jaded is the proper word to describe him, where he doesn't believe friendship actually exists, even if it's totally there in games. Which is funny because he plays a lot of games, which clearly might mean that he actually does want, you know, the friendships that are depicted in such games. But for him, every day is a large hurdle, which is why he says there's always one boss fight after another. And it's also why he's bitter when people can just get through life without having to do so much compared to him. And to some degree, I feel like for him, socializing is also a very large hurdle. You know, unless he's comfortable with you, which might also be this line, I'm salty when players can AFK. Because I do feel like he most likely wants to connect with people, but it's not something that comes to him very easily, which is why he always talks in like gaming lingo and all that. So that's also why he feels pressure at max level from all sides, and why he doesn't really like the people who try to influence the mood in a room or on others. And clearly the role he doesn't want is the guardian role, I think this is called. I don't really remember the exact term. Like, I know he has like a large responsibility. I just don't remember the actual like term of what he's supposed to be. And so obviously for him, it's just like exhausting because he's doing it by himself pretty much, even though it's for his family to complete. And that's pretty much the gist that I'm getting so far. So got no sense of danger, just too carefree. So he's more aware of the dangers that's happening in the underworld that can definitely have a negative influence on the world above. But obviously people above aren't really going to notice or realize the things that he has to do to make sure they're safe. So that probably also puts him in a pretty bad mood, to be honest. You know, I can see why you guys like this one though. Musically, it is so good. Yes. Yes, I love this one. Obviously near the end it was pretty much a repeat, but I do quite feel the loneliness he does seem to feel, and obviously what happened with his brother definitely did not help, and that probably made him a lot more pessimistic and unable to escape out of that mindset because he feels like everything was his fault, which honestly I still don't know if it actually is, because both of them made the decision to go instead of just him. But at the same time, it is true that what happened was very tragic. to his brother. And that clearly traumatized him and has made him escape into the world of games as a coping mechanism instead of being able to face what has happened and trying to move forward. So it makes me really sad because now he's not able to interact like without talking in gaming lingo, essentially. And well, that's fine, you know, if you're with like fellow gamers, it's totally fine. But if you're with different types of people, it can be very hard to communicate if you're unable to set aside that kind of terminology and just talk like normally and simply for someone to understand you. But I also do feel like he tries to hide behind those gaming lingo and terms to protect himself, you know, from the pain that he experienced since he was young. And unfortunately, if you experience something really young, then that's even worse. I mean, obviously anything can be bad at any age, but especially for a child who has literally no full developmental skills and coping mechanisms, they will and are more likely to delve into and spiral into very bad habits. And for him, it seems to be more along the lines of gaming, which I suppose is healthier than other things that he could have done as an alternative to cope with what happened. But, you know, it still does affect him socially to some degree. I mean, thankfully, he did overblot. Not that I'm saying that overblotting is a good thing, but I do think it benefited him. And, you know, being able to interact with the other dorms probably helps too later down the road. Because I do remember in book 7, when it was Idia's dream, he had like a really nice, you know, dream. Like his brother's alive and going to school and, you know, they're having a great time and a great life. But in the end, he does accept it. So at that point, it showed how different he was from the time when it was his book. I forgot which number it was. Book 6? Yeah, book 6. And I think that was like the first step of him realizing that he shouldn't just, you know, one, put so much pressure on himself and guilt on himself for everything that happened, but two, that people actually are willing to be friends with you if you're open enough. So I thought that was a very interesting portrayal of Idia's overblotting and his lore, for that matter. That said, though, I don't really remember the details about Idia's. Like I said before, his is kind of hard for me to remember for some reason. I don't know why. But I remember certain bits of it, but not like 100%, which is why I'm kind of like not sure and extrapolating mostly from the lyrics and from what I see in the visually. But if I'm missing any details, do let me know. I would love to get some things clarified in that regard. But overall, the music has been great. I feel like I'm gonna listen to it offline. I've been listening to Vils a couple of times after, and now this is definitely gonna be added to it. It's just so much fun. I just did not expect the rapping at all. That was really good though. I liked it. Now it's time for Malleus, the one I've been looking forward to. Wait. Okay, good. It's hard subbed. I wasn't sure. My gosh, his voice. That must be Lilia, right? So let me actually go back a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit, right? I think right here. So I assume this small unblemished garden is where they put his egg, right? And then the countless voices is probably the Senate. oh, the Senate, they should just already pass away forever. Or pass on, for that matter, because they're already dead. Oh, that's so annoying. But that countless voices are probably the Senate, and then what resounds through this song of prayer must be Lilia himself. Oh, I love that line. Then Lilia is kicked out because of the Senate, so obviously he can't hear it. That's what the Senate says to him. Bang! The visuals are on another level. It's like they put all of their efforts into Malleus. But you know, I'm not gonna complain about it. This must be the part about how no matter how long they waited and tried everything, he wasn't, you know, getting out of the egg for such a long time. So if that's the case, then this part take as much, as much as you want must be like them trying to tell him to take the magic and then just let them be by your side. I just don't know what the them part is. So if you have an idea what that is exactly, please let me know down below in the comments. Book 7 is still pretty fresh in my head, but I know it's missing a lot of details because it is a summary video. And if you haven't watched that video, then go ahead and check it out on the playlist. That will be at the end of the video. But either way, it is insane how, what's the nicest way to put this? Brainless the Senate is. Especially if if there's someone that can actually get him to hatch and not die, then I think they should be grateful enough for that. But no, they're just so ungrateful. It just, why are they even allowed to influence so much? That's my biggest question. It makes me so angry. But the next one is said, let me see. You know, this kind of probably reflects like how lonely Pai feels. Like he's only the one there, and then the Senate is like a set of servants waiting for him to finish his food. So for him, it feels like he can't show weakness, but then he can't awaken without Lilia. Oh, his voice is the best. Okay, this part must be about, you know, his despair that the people he cares about are, you know, all gonna leave him. And he doesn't want that to happen, obviously, because he already feels lonely, because it's not like anyone's trying to get close to him due to how much power he has, which is why he probably hides the pain by behind his eyes, as he says here. And so what he does instead to cope is, what was it? Behold with your own eyes how foolish it is to resist. Like he probably knows himself he can't like stop it from happening, which is probably why he delved even deeper into despair, and that it's a mistake for them to one, leave, but also maybe even have this friendship with him is probably something that he may deeply feel. But again, I'm probably missing a few details that are actually pretty important to fully understand, but I know you guys will fill in the blanks in the comments. Also, if you're enjoying this so far, then hit the like and subscribe and share my video with a friend to spread the fun. Yeah, this is definitely the dream thing because he's saying for all eternity, not to mention, he says it here, those dreams, right there. The dreams that circle around in the sea, the looping, a night that knows no dawn. He doesn't want them to ever wake up because if they do, then they're going to leave. That's pretty much the conclusion he came to. So he's trying to entice them into a deeper dream so that they can't get out of it, so that they can't leave. And if he needs to, he'll do that for the entire school. Which is obviously quite bad, but you know. Ooh, now they show it. Look at that. That is a perfection at its finest. And you know you agree with me. But I really do love his voice. I think the more I listen to these voices, the more I find myself really liking Malleus's voice. Mostly also because, you know, he's clearly vocally trained. I think he was the opera guy, right? And so I really like that kind of vocal tone, especially from opera singers. It's really beautiful. And so the more I listen to him, the more it feels like there's like lots of layers in his vocal tone that I actually quite like. So hearing a song like this makes it even better. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Ooh. That is fitting where he does that, because technically the dreams that he spreads is basically under his reign. So I mean, it fits. So yeah, either way, I really like the songs. I didn't really get to enjoy the visuals much, so I want to look at the visuals a bit more. I was able to see the visuals for the other ones a bit easier, but this one has a lot more going on, which I'm surprised by, but at the same time not, considering how long book 7 was. I mean, look at that, the effects. I think he has the most variety in the actual artwork. Lilia! I like how it's so obvious that it's him. There's like no question about it. Ah, of course, the spinning wheel for Sleeping Beauty. Poke the finger and fall into eternal sleep. And then we have the bubbles. I think those are all the people from Draconia, right? Again, I feel like this particular dining setting is about how he feels, because he feels really alone. Huh, maybe it's not so many variety of different artworks of him. It's just they're very smart at how they present it. Yeah, those are definitely from Draconia. I can't remember who the guy on the right is, but I do know the guy on the left, Milia's adopted son. I definitely thought that his overblotting felt random at first, But after hearing the explanation from everyone, it makes a lot more sense why he basically crashed out in that sense and used the wrong method to go about, you know, expressing his actual desires, as in please don't leave me. But you know, I get it now, and I can understand, especially if you never really had a lot of friends. That makes it even harder to take such a thing, the both news of basically us potentially leaving and Lilia forever leaving and never being in contact with anyone ever again. Like, I literally thought he was just gonna retire and then, you know, still keep in contact once in a while kind of thing. But no, it's like forever, I will not be talking to you guys. That's a different story in that case, you know? Anyways, be sure to click on the playlist right here on the screen if you want to see more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!